We have content creators and fans that can analyze an entire season of basketball after 3 or 4 games. Yes, a sport that plays 82 games, how good or bad a team is can be perfectly analyzed after 4 games. I mean, looking at the standings, the Atlanta Hawks are on pace to be the number 3 team in the Eastern Conference. You listen to some of these guys, and teams like the Denver Nuggets and New York Knicks have the hole already dug and are just waiting for someone to fill in the dirt. Am I the only one that feels like this is a crazy line of thinking, or am I wrong? How can you come to the conclusion that the New York Knicks are cooked in the East and their blockbuster trade was a major bust? They've played 4 games. The Denver Nuggets, a team a year removed from a championship, is 1-2 so far, and we have creators and analysts slamming their championship window shut. Let's think about this. The 2017 Golden State Warriors lost their first game by 29 points. A team that is generally considered one of the greatest teams of all time. If we jump to conclusions, like many are so far into the season, they are an absolute bust of a team. Steph and KD couldn't figure out how to play together. They made a massive mistake. They even lost to this team by 20 points. In fact, that greatest team of all time started their season 3-3 after that Lakers loss. Even last year, the Knicks team that everyone believes has arrived started the season at 2-4. It screams to me that some of these guys and gals haven't played a sport before. You can't know exactly what your team is in only 2 or 3 games, especially teams that have new pieces added, guys playing newer roles, new coaches coming in, and etc. In the NBA, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Teams and coaches have to adjust to each other. Players don't jump right into rhythm at game 1 all the time. As the guys on Gil's Arena have said, there are certain plays being ran and schemes worked in that we don't know about. Those teams that are trying to implement that might be new or ran by newer guys that may take time to work the kinks out. There might be a roster member that is being tasked with a new assignment that might need time or be out of their comfort zone. You just can't know how good or bad certain teams will be by simply a couple of games. Now, in the same vein, are there teams that you know are trash and will continue to be trash as the season progresses? Absolutely. There are teams that obviously don't want or expect to win. Their future actually depends on them losing and losing a lot. Some of those teams actually win in the beginning of the season. It's just the nature of the game. However, when teams buckle down and really ramp it up, the cream always rises to the top. We've seen Denver struggle so far this season. It's funny that many said the same thing last year after they lost Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, and they won more games than they did their championship season. Granted, they were a second-round knockout, and we've seen some possible decline in a few key players. 2 games this season is not a big enough sample size to go ahead and read them their last rites. And I get it, Russell Westbrook has looked bad, really bad. He's shooting a whopping 11% from the field so far. I mean, you can replace him with Bronny these last 2 games, and Denver likely wouldn't have missed a beat. Sorry for the stray, Bronny, but you get what I mean. However, he's with a new team and learning a new system. He'll need some time. The Knicks have some major pieces to implement into their system. So far, Mikal Bridges, who I thought would fit seamlessly, seems to need some time to get acclimated, but that happens when you go from basically the number 1 option to now 3rd. It will take some time, but he has been good, but has moments where he seems like he's not sure what to do. The Boston Celtics are really the only team that we are seeing exactly who and what they are after just a few games. Again, they are that based on the teams that matter. Detroit is who they are, but do we really care? The point being that it is early, very early, and we know the ebbs and flow of an NBA season. Most people say the NBA doesn't start until after Christmas. These wild assessments of certain teams after 4 or less games is just insane to me. The Lakers, who I have to give an apology to because I did an entire video writing them off, and they've absolutely proven me wrong so far. You have to realize that there are teams and even players playing way above their means early on, and some that are playing way under their usual game. And expect them to have the same impact for all 82 games is just completely insane. Let's wait until these teams have at least 10 games under their belt. Then we can analyze and break down how good they really are. Let some of these teams have to step on their opponent's court and not have home cooking and a hot crowd to push them through. It's great to hypothesize and prognosticate since we all need talking points, but to flat out bury teams before there's more than a handful of games is just asinine. So with that said, there's some teams playing really good basketball right now. There's some assumed good teams playing really bad basketball. And then there's the Wizards and Pistons. Either way, let's give the NBA some room to breathe before we jump all over these teams. Because I can guarantee you, some of these teams you guys are burying will be in the forefront come April. And some of these teams we're overhyping will be praying for a play-in berth. I've enjoyed the opening of the season so far. I hope that we are in for one season for the ages. But what do you all think? Have some of these teams shown who they truly are? Or are we way too early to pass judgment? Let me know in the comments section below. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe to the channel. Can't do this without you guys. Thank you and be back soon with more content.